Hello and welcome to the National Debate. I'm Madhavdas Gopalkrishnan. Viewers, the budget session is on, and over the past week, we've seen some important developments unfold. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presented a seventh consecutive budget with a promise of laying down the roadmap for a Viksit Bharat by 2047. Now, one of the key takeaways from the Union Budget 2024 was the reflection of the changed political landscape as the BJP no longer enjoys majority on its own, and has to work its way through by taking its allies along, especially the TDP and the JDU together. The two states ruled by the TDP and the JDU with BJP support, Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, did find prominent mentions in the budget speech, accompanied by significant allocations. Now, Andhra Pradesh has been promised significant allocations, including 15,000 crore rupees for the development of capital Amravati. For Bihar, the government has proposed 26,000 crores for various road projects, and 21,000 crores have been reserved for power projects. The opposition is up in arms, from branding the budget as a Kursi Bachao budget to calling it a copy-paste job with ideas being taken from the Congress manifesto to alleging discrimination against non-NDA states. The India bloc has been raining fire on the Modi government. Taking a dig, in fact, the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge has said that while pakoras and jalebis have been given to Andhra and Bihar, nothing was given to opposition-ruled states. The India bloc as a whole has echoed this sentiment as well. For more on this, in fact, let's quickly introduce our guest. We have Shahzad Poonawala, national spokesperson of the BJP, who's joining us. Also with us here is, in fact, Rohit Azad, economist. Rajiv Desai, chairman and CEO of Comma Consulting, joins us in the studio, as well as Gaurav Chachra, spokesperson of Samajwadi Party. Joining us from outside is Deepak Reddy, if we can quickly bring him up on the big screen, national spokesperson of the TDP. Rajat Sethi is author and economist. Also with us is Dr. Riju Datta, spokesperson of the TMC. Now, before I go across to our guests, I want to quickly sum up what we've been discussing in terms of what really the opposition has said to the government's to budget at this moment. This is the allocation for Bihar. 26,000 crores allocated for roads. There's also 21,000 crores that have been allocated for power. Industrial centers to be set up in Gaya as well. This is something for Bihar, including airports, medical colleges, infrastructure. Andhra Pradesh, 15,000 crores to build the new capital of Amravati. Grants for backward regions of Andhra Pradesh, as well as early completion of the Polavaram project. Remember, a number of key road, highway projects, etc., that were promised during the division of the state really have not been fulfilled is the contention of the Andhra government. Let's quickly take you across to the next set of graphics. This is a point that is being made by opposition. Of course, is it really borne out when it comes to the facts? Karnataka's allocations appear to have increased over the past 3 years. The allegation that Karnataka and other opposition-ruled states justice has not been done, is that borne out by the numbers, is a question indeed. Let's move on to the next state. The next state that we're looking at, apart from Karnataka, is West Bengal. West Bengal has seen steady increase in allocation, 61,000 crores to 83,000, and now at 93,000. Let's move on to the third state we're talking about. This is Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu also has seen increase in allocations from 33 to 45 to 50,000. So is the claim of opposition parties justified is certainly a question that arises out of it. But going back to the two states that we were talking about earlier, if you can quickly bring up the next set of graphics, and this is why there is so much of importance and focus on Bihar. There is, of course, we know that it's amongst the poorest states, but look at the goals as far as education are concerned. What's the national average score? Bihar is bottom of the list at 32. Let's move on to the next parameter that we're looking at in terms of gender equality. Bihar is in the bottom 5 of the list on this parameter as well. Quickly take you across to the next slide. This is as far as the no poverty goal is concerned. Bihar at the bottom of the state list at 39. These are the developmental goals which include industry, innovation, infrastructure, FDI. Even Bihar, in fact, amongst the lowest as far as the entire state list is concerned. The next set of graphics that we're going to talk about is Andhra. Andhra post-bifurcation woes where 91% of 245 institutions or assets of the erstwhile Andhra Pradesh are in Hyderabad is a contention that has been made. These assets valued at 1.42 lakh crores clearly benefit Telangana is a contention of Andhra Pradesh. None of these assets apportioned between the successor or states that have been given, and also Telangana's inaction in denying Andhra its fundamental rights has been a contention of Andhra Pradesh all along, and that it is disadvantageous disadvantaged because from the start it has not had access to these assets. So that's really been the contention of these two states. Is these contentions, is all of the allocation justified? Let's quickly take this across to our guest joining us. Shehzad Poonawala, I'm going to start with you. The opposition says that there's been, a lot of plenty that has been given to these two allies. Perhaps it's justified, perhaps it's not. That's a point of contention. But is there contention that there's been injustice to the non-NDA states? Does that hold out?
First of all, Madhav, thank you for inviting us on this very informed debate. And let me start by saying that the problem does not lie with the budget. It lies with the budget data. The budget maker is the problem. So whatever would have been in the budget, the problem makers would have still had a problem. And I'll explain to you why. First, they said that there's no mention of other states. Madhav, you heard the budget speech. Uttarakhand, Himachal were mentioned. But let me give you an interesting tidbit. 2006 to 12, the UPA budget speeches had Tamil Nadu in every speech. The moment ADMK came in 2012, the mention of Tamil Nadu stopped. Now in this budget, if they say that unfair treatment has been given, let me just quote from the figures that you also partly quoted from. Out of the 12,40,000 crores that was allocated by the center to the states, 18% went to Uttar Pradesh, 2,23,000 crores. Bihar, 1,25,000 crores. MP, 97,000 crores. West Bengal at number 4, 93,827 crores. Much more than Maharashtra, which is the election state, at 78,786 crores. Andhra is way down at 9th position, 54,74 crores. Tamil Nadu is above that, 50,873 crores. And it's not just about this budget. Let me add some more facts. Bihar between 2004 to 14 got totally from UPA, taxes and devolution grants, etc., 2,75,000 crores. Before this budget, how much Bihar got from the NDA government in the last 10 years of Modi? 9 lakh crores. Tamil Nadu got 1.6 lakh crores. The same Tamil Nadu under NDA in the 10 years got 5 lakh crores. That's 2.5 times more. Karnataka got 1.5 lakh crores. Karnataka in the 10 years of Modi ji got about 5.1 lakh crores.
Okay.
So where is the discrimination? Finally, what is actually discrimination? Madhav, another state gave its budget, which is Telangana. In the Telangana budget, what happened? 3,000 crores allocated to the Madarsa minority from 2,200 crores, and the SC budget of 21,000 crores cut down to 7,000 crores. The entire budget of ST cut down by 10%.
Okay.
That is discrimination, not dissent. By the last point. One last point, one statement. What is the problem? Because RJD says Junjuna Mila, and they are saying Pakodi Mila. So is it Pakodi given to Biharis or is it Junjuna given to Biharis?
Okay. Let me bring in Mr. Rajiv Desai on that. Rajiv Desai, the numbers are not adding up is the BJP's contention that there has been allocation given to all states and it's unfair to brand this as a budget that is biased towards certain states.
Well, you can make the point that you want depending on your outlook and your point of view. The fact is the budget document is a statement of a government's priorities. And from the reading of it, obviously you can't read it the way a bureaucrat in the finance ministry would do, but for us, normally, you can see that there's a bit of a confusion in the priorities. Something's given here, something's taken out. There's no overarching framework to the budget. That's what my contention is. And one example, for example, is the long-term capital gains.
Yeah.
Now, yes, you can say the builders' lobby will be up in arms and so forth, but
I'm actually going to come to LTCG. That's a separate debating point. Right now, I'm just going to stick to the. We'll go point by point. We have enough time. The point of states. Is there injustice towards the states? We'll come to LTCG. We'll definitely debate that in depth. But I want to quickly go across to our other guests who are with us. In fact, let me put that point across to Deepak Reddy. Deepak Reddy, do you agree with the contention coming in from various opposition parties that this budget is biased towards the allies? Rahul Gandhi has called this a kursi bachao budget. Do you agree with those contentions and those comments that have been made?
Madhav, if you can give me a minute extra, I'm going to put this argument to rest and expose the low political, I don't know what to call it also, low-level politics being played by the India ecosystem. Now let us come straight to Andhra Pradesh. We'll start from there. The president of Congress party in Andhra Pradesh has actually put a press meet, and she said that Chandrababu Naidu ji has requested for 1 lakh crores, and as per the Bifurcation Act, we were supposed to get around 12 to 15 lakh crores. So what was given is something equivalent to what beggars get. I mean, these are her comments, not my comments. And then she says, Polavaram project, the industrial corridors, most of it, no data has been given, or how much amount is being given hasn't been in the budget, and it looks more like a manifesto and not like budget because it doesn't have figures in that. These are her words. And as far as special status is concerned, she says it is part of the act, whereas Bihar, it was not part of any act. So severe injustice has been done to Andhra Pradesh is the comments made by the president of the Andhra Pradesh state. But whereas the India ecosystem and the Congress party in the center says that they have given us favor. A lot of favors have been done to Andhra Pradesh. So you can see the contradiction between the party at the state level and at the center level. Now coming to certain other figures. The India ecosystem says on one side Andhra Pradesh has been favored, and on the other side they say very less funds have been given to Andhra. It is not even 1/3. It is and Bihar got about 315% more funds than what Andhra got. So they have to make up their mind whether Andhra has got or whether Andhra hasn't got. Another important point is the Congress party is complaining that most of the aspects of this budget has been taken from their manifesto. So they have to make up their mind. If their manifesto was good, then the budget is good. If the manifesto was bad, then the budget is also bad. So there is a contradiction there also.
Yeah.
Now coming straight to the figures. If you look at the capex, we have received only 1.3%. And if you look at the overall budget of the 15,000 crore commitment, we have received less than 0.03%. Whereas if you take our population statistics, we should our share is about 1,80,000 crores. And if you look at our revenue share contribution, it would be much more. So what we received in one way is not as these people are saying. We are talking figures. And most importantly, Congress party was the party which has split the state. And they have put this in the Reorganization Act. Now they have to clarify: do they still stand by the points what they have put in the Reorganization Act?
Okay.
So because the Andhra Pradesh people understand the dramas of the Congress party, they have been reduced to around 2% vote share. So severe injustice has been done on one side. So on one side they talk that the major favor is being done to us, and on the other side they say injustice is done to us.
Okay.
So this is all a big political drama, and I am talking facts, and I feel I've exposed their
one by one. We'll go one by one. I want to bring in Mr. Desai on that point actually, because on the one hand, on the day of counting, you would also seen the tweet put out by Mr. Jairam Ramesh, where he was referring to the special status that had to be given to Andhra Pradesh. And this was at the time when the numbers were a little fluid. Perhaps there were hopes that if the numbers of the BJP come down a lot more, that with the help of perhaps the TDP and the JDU, a government could be formed. But the point I'm making is just this: that stand was taken on counting day. Now, when that promise is in a way being fulfilled, says the TDP, now why is the Congress party complaining? Isn't that hypocrisy?
No, I don't know whether it's hypocrisy or not. I do think that there is some merit to what the points that they have made, and I think people should listen to them. What seems to me the complaint is that people have not been consulted. It's just been put together by a bunch of people who are consulted from the outside, from within the bureaucracy, and then the whole thing has been slapped together like, let's do this on capital gains, let's do this on import duties, so it's not a cogent budget is the major complaint.
Okay, let me bring in Rajat on that point. Rajat, it's not a cogent budget, there's no consultation that's happened. Are these facts that are borne out?
I don't. First of all, we need to understand that this is a truncated budget. This is not the budget for the entire year. This is more of a continuation to what vote on account had sort of in principle laid out. But there have been some very important policy, statements that have come out of this budget. Mind you, Prime Minister Modi's style of presenting of budget is slightly different from how Manmohan Singh's style was. Prime Minister believes that policy assertions that have to be made cannot just be made in the budget session alone. It has to be sort of spaced out around the year so that, the entire administration has the sort of space and time window to actually formulate good and more progressive policies. For example, PLI 2.0. PLI 2.0 is something which is getting shaped up, when the government has just been sworn in, and there have been a lot of deliberations with industry experts. I can tell you right now, various industry bodies are in active conversations with the government to shape PLI 2.0. Now, you can say that they could have come up with a hurried PLI 2.0 announcement in the budget itself, but that wouldn't have cut eyes because, you need to come out with better policy than to manage the optics of around the budget alone. That's number one. Number two, even look at the NPS, the new pension scheme. There have been a lot of tweaks that are being planned by the government, but government believes that perhaps it would take its own good time to meet the needs and address the needs of all possible stakeholders before jumping the gun. So I think barring few aspects which the government is working on, the large overarching theme around the budget has been those 9 pillars.
Right.
And the 9 pillars that that Honorable Finance Minister talked about are very relevant. Now, if people don't want to see, the policy thinking behind the budget, then what can anybody else do about
Okay, let me
it?
bring in Riju on that point. Riju, I want you to come in on this entire point of allies being placated, because you have the TDP spokesperson here. He has talked about the guarantees that have been given by an act of parliament that 10 years hence have still not been implemented on ground. We all know the developmental parameters as far as Bengal is concerned. Is it really right to say that this is being done only for political reasons? Aren't there very cogent and very real reasons for those allocations to have been made to Andhra Pradesh and Bihar? Why politicize it is a question coming in from the ruling benches. Please respond.
Thank you, Madhav. Please give me the courtesy of time. Listen, I'm going to straight say this, that this budget that was presented by a failed finance minister of a failed government was nothing but a bribe. The union budget was used to give bribe to its alliance partners to keep this Mili-Juli Sarkar buoyant. Now, does that mean that Andhra and Bihar did not deserve this budget? Of course they did. And congratulations to Chandrababu Naidu ji and Nitish Kumar ji for getting their pound of flesh. But the question to TDP is, and for the people of Andhra is, BJP has been in power for 10 years. They did not give you the money before. Just because you are saving their skin to run the government, now you have got the budget. So there are two different things. Now coming to Bengal. Why we are saying that this is the union budget was used to save their own skin and own chair? Because Bengal is owed 1,71,000 crores. Shahzad gave a number. Now you know what are these funds that are coming to Bengal? These are railway assets, union government assets for metro line, for railway tracks, for highways. It is just like saying that for the maintenance of Taj Mahal, if we are giving funds, we are giving funds to the people of Uttar Pradesh. It is absurd. Bengal's Manrega funds were not released by the union government, the state government paid it, and Madhav, you did multiple shows on that. Awas Yojana funds, 11 lakh houses, not given. The state government will give it from December. Bengal is always deprived. Why? Because of only one reason, because they cannot politically or electorally win Bengal. My logic is this. See, if a budget, I am not getting into technicalities because there are a lot of technical people here. Madhav, give me 30 seconds. This budget did not focus on two most important parameters in this country, health, education. And last but not the least, it did not utter a single word on Indian railways, which has become a death trap to the commoners of this country.
Okay.
Where
Let's stick to Bengal in the center. Let's stick to Bengal in the center. Riju, a simple question to you before I go across to others. There are many hands going up. The finance minister very specifically has stated that Bengal does not implement central government schemes. That is her counter to Mamata Banerjee saying that this is an anti-poor and an anti-people budget. If you're not implementing the central schemes, then how will those funds flow from the center to the state is certainly a valid question.
No. One second. Manrega is not a Pradhan Mantri scheme. Why do we need faulty Ayushman Bharat? We have our own Shastro Sati scheme. Why do we need their Kisan Yojana, where there are so many technicalities, whereas the Kisan, the farmers' income has tripled in the state of Bengal with our own policies that we have in our state? We don't need their folly and faulty policies. Yeah. What we need is Manrega funds, which is an act in the parliament. What we need are Awas funds. Give us our funds.
Okay. First Shahzad and then Rajat. Two hands going up. Yeah.
Perhaps the categorization of a failed FM would be one who allocates 5,000 crores to madrasas and 1,200 crores to MSME in the West Bengal budget. The West Bengal budget is 3 lakh crores. You know how much North Bengal got? 22% of the population, 861 crores. I think that would be a failed FM. But anyways, let me come back to the main issue, which is the central issue. Let me quote only data. I'm not going to quote anything out of BJP or Shahzad Poonawala today. The money given for Manrega, Rijuji, UPA time, I'm taking about 1 year, 14,985 crore. NDA time, 54,150 crore. This is a demand-driven scheme. So more man days are demanded, it will be paid. Secondly, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Awas Yojana, Sadak Yojana, 5,400 crores UPA, 11,051 crores NDA. PM Awas Yojana, sir please, 4,466 crores, 30,000 crores. NRLM Bank, which is lending to priority sector and other things, 626 crores, 74,000 crores. Total, 58,000 crores during UPA, NDA, 2,05,000 crores. Let me give you another figure. In this budget, whatever the money that was given to West Bengal at number 4th position, 93,000 crores. This was a jump of 326% from the last given in 2013-14 by the UPA. Now, let's assume the size of the economy was half of the size of the economy now. Even then, by that indexation, which many people here will love, by that indexation, we could have given only 45,000 crores. We have given 93,000 crores, Madhav. And therefore, I say, and what is he saying? That bribe is being given to people of Uttar Pradesh? Bribe is being given to people of Bihar? This attitude that UPites and Biharis take bribe, this I don't think. If we give anything to West Bengal, do we say it's a bribe? If we give anything, and what was their allegation till yesterday? We are anti-South. Andhra ko zyada mila, to bribe ho gaya. South India is being told that they are bribe takers. UP is being told they are bribe takers. Bihar is being told they are bribe takers. We are not Bahirgato. We are also part of this country.
Okay, Riju wants to respond. Riju.
Can I come in, Madhav?
Yes, please come in.
Yes. See, the problem with Shehzad, and all these BJP minions is that they like to twist words.
Let's not get into adjectives.
Categorically am saying that
Riju, one second. I'm just requesting all of you guys. One second. One second. It's not an them. Yeah, that's the problem. I just don't want this to degenerate. One second, please. One second, gentlemen. Just give me a second. On this show and all of my shows, I do not allow sparring between panelists on personal basis. Do not make personal comments on them because then it will degenerate into a tutu meme. I do not want that to happen. Let's keep it civil. Riju, make your points without making personal comments. Yeah, please continue.
I take back my... Shehzad is a good friend and I take back my minion remark, but I will say this. When Shehzad does this jugglery of words, I am saying again categorically, the union budget was used by Narendra Modi and the BJP to bribe Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu Naidu to keep their Mili-Juli Sarkar buoyant. Second, when he talks about UP allocation, ND allocation, what was the tax that the union government or the UPA government used to collect from Bengal? And what is the tax that you collect from Bengal now? 10 years, the world has changed, the country has changed. In Manrega, which is an act by the parliament, how we had to go and sit in dharna in Delhi. Our MPs were arrested. Your full pant and half pant mantris ran away.
Again, we're going to get into full pant, half pant. I want to avoid let's avoid this, please. Okay, very quickly, I have to bring in two other panelists who have not even spoken. Very quickly.
Riju, first of all, I don't take any of your comments personally because I know you well and you're a good friend of mine, so I'll pass that off. But I'm saying that if this is such a bribe and such a opposition you have, Mamta Didi to Niti Aayog ja rahi hai. ममता दीदी नीति आयोग जा रही है, ये बाकी के लोगों को बाहर खड़ा कर दिया, ममता दीदी नीति आयोग जा रही है.
This is a serious question though, Rohit. You know, there are states that say that there's injustice being done to us. You have a situation where the center says that you're not following the proper procedure, you're not following the proper systems that have been put in place, you're politicizing these funds. End of the day, the citizens of that state suffer because these funds are just not used for the schemes which they are intended to. I mean, nobody can question that fact that Manrega eventually benefits rural India. So in the midst of all of this politics, it's the states that are ruling out whatever be the political rhetoric.
See, first of all, in this budget, nobody asked the government to actually mention Andhra and Bihar in particular. If they've chosen to mention it, then there's going to be questioning on that.
Right.
So let me first talk about that and then come to the center. So the allocation itself, if you look at the numbers, 15,000 crores, which was then in post-budget conference, she said that this is going to be a loan from the IMF or the World Bank or the ADB on the sovereign backing of the central government. Now, that's not really a grant. That's just a loan. That loan has to be paid back with interest rates. So how is that an allocation from within the budget? It's not. That 15,000 has been clarified. If you look at the Bihar numbers, which there are no numbers, by the way, very few numbers. Most of it is tourism, we'll develop this, we'll develop that. And what? What is the concrete budget allocation that you're making to that? You're not. You're not saying that specifically. I would say that this is a political point they are making, and justifiably, because these are two allies that they have. So instead of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, it's Nitish Naidu ka Saath or Nitish Naidu ka Vikas. So if you make that in the budget, don't ask the opposition or others to actually defend or not defend. You have chosen to do it, not the others. You should have just said that this is what we are allocating to all the states, not mention these two states. You chose to, so there is going to be question.
Okay, Rajat, I think I want Rajat to comment on that. Rajat, if you're going to specifically mention these states, then obviously you have to be prepared for whatever bouquets or brickbats come along the way. At the end of the day, you have taken a conscious decision. You've made these public announcements. You cannot but expect that there will be no blowback from the opposition in the other states. Please respond to what Rohit is saying.
Absolutely. See, is there any denying that this is a coalition government? Not at all. Government is, will do everything in its right to ensure that they run a smooth government, a stable government. If it entails, giving financial grants to the states of Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, so be it. Where is the problem? The problem fundamentally that you need to establish is that there has been injustice meted out systemically to the other states, and that needs to be presented via numbers, proper, irrefutable numbers. My friend here on TMC talked about them not getting Manrega grants. Look at you, your viewers just need to Google 230,000 crore rupees of utilization certificates have not been furnished, and this is by an independent body, the CAG. CAG has established, and their immediate response is that we don't accept CAG report. Now, you cannot start targeting the institutions of our country, saying that those institutions are giving political reports. Those, out of those 230,000 crores, almost 1 lakh crore belongs to one department, which is the Ministry of Rural and the Panchayati Raj in the government of West Bengal. They alone have failed to furnish repeatedly. And this issue has been going on for the past 2 years or so. But they will deny this, that we don't accept the report. Now, that's good for them. But what needs to be done is, by the opposition, they need to come out of their political mode and objectively put it before the public. But otherwise, what is going to happen? This happened in the month of February. When the interim budget was presented, vote on account, all of these leaders in southern India, they put up huge posters and holdings saying zero budget.
Right.
The Karnataka sitting deputy chief minister's brother goes out and says that, we are independent because we are not getting fiscal justice. So let us part ways of India. He made those seditious remarks.
Okay. Let's go one by one. Yeah. I think there's some very valid points you're making there, Rajat. I want to bring in Riju on the point you made on West Bengal. You don't give these utilization certificates. 2 lakh crores is a whopping amount, sir. And I know this has been a contentious issue for some time. But, when you go out and attack the center for not giving funds, somewhere or the other, you have to also look inwards, is the question that Rajat is asking you. Riju?
The problem, Madhav, is people come on special shows on national debates looking at Google and WhatsApp. I'll get into the details of this. Not only the central teams have come to Bengal, they have said, yes, after cutting across everything, there are 59 lakh recipients. Now in Manrega, there are funds which are allocated in 2 sections. One is as wages and the other one for materials. We have said you do not need to pay us the materials, but the people, the poor laborers who have worked for 2.5 years, you have to pay their wages. And that report, that audit report, which was done by 15 central teams, were submitted to none other than the Prime Minister of India by the Chief Minister of West Bengal inside the Prime Minister's office in the North Block of the Parliament. Now, after that, can I finish? This report and the Prime Minister of the PMO did not come out with a statement that this is a faulty report or this is a no. The Prime Minister categorically said, I will ask my team to liquidate the funds as fast as possible.
I'm just coming to one by one. Rajat, I want Rajat to come in on this. Rajat.
He very selectively did not talk about CAG report, and there are serious issues which the CAG report has highlighted, which TMC they have no response. 2 lakh crores, Madhav, it's not a small amount. Why should a taxpayer struggle at a corrupt government who is not ensuring that the money allocated for the due purposes is reaching there? Okay. And this is the reason they do not have the utilization certificates put in place.
All right, we've read a lot.
For several months now.
Yeah.
Madhav, I seek your indulgence. Madhav, I have not interrupted. One by one. The government deserves a chance.
Very quickly.
Madhav, quoting from figures, anybody can check from any source that you like. Under the UPA regime, 2006-7 to 13-14, 2,13,220 crores allocated for Manrega over that period of time. 1,660 crore man days works, 153 lakh works done. In NDA regime, 14-15 to 22-23, 2,341 crore man days were generated, 5,76,000 released, and 602 lakh works completed. Secondly, on Rohit ji's point, Rohit ji said that Bihar, Andhra ko mention kiya. Rohit ji, you've been seeing the budget for many years, and I respect you a lot as an economist. Sir, can you tell me if all the states were mentioned between 2004 to 14 in every budget? And in that budget, 2006 to 12, sir, please, sir, Rajiv ji, please, 2006 to 12, only Tamil Nadu and Bengal were time and again mentioned.
Right.
And then Tamil Nadu's mention was dropped the moment the government changed.
Rohit, release this one.
So don't do it. I'm not defending any party. Don't do it in Congress. Just one second.
Sir, you are an economist.
Yes,
You are an economist.
so that's what I'm saying. Don't do it in any budget.
Let him make his
Don't make a mention of a specific state. If you do so, whether it's the UPA or the NDA, questions would be asked. In which case, you have to respond. Now, coming to the narrative,
just
one
before you
second.
move on, just one point on this. One point on this.
This is not fair.
This is Gaurav has not even spoken.
Just one line.
Make his point.
First, let him make his point.
Rohit, make your point. Let him make his point, please.
Because this Narega number has been twice at least been mentioned here. Let me say two things on that. Number one, what is the real allocation? Why is it important? Money which is 100 rupees in 2004 is not 100 rupees today. So don't quote nominal numbers. Quote as a percentage of the GDP. And if I do that, and especially in the context of when Mr. Narendra Modi came to the government, he said that this is actually a ditch digging program. That is what he said about the Manrega. But if we go to the numbers in specific, the numbers during the UPA 2 were much higher as a percentage of the expenditure. I can give you the exact numbers. I have it. The Mint article, thankfully, mentions the exact amount as far as percentage of GDP is concerned. That's how you measure expenditures, not in nominal numbers. 100 rupees then is not 100 rupees today. You make it a real figure, then make that comparison.
Percentage allocations, justice has not been done. Respond to that point.
Now, let me respond to two very quick points. First of all, I was expecting that as an economist, he would have said that the mere non-mention of any state names does not mean that those states have been delivered injustice, because that was his argument for this government, but it was not an argument before 2014. So, you have to look at it from the economist point of view, not from the political point of view. Secondly, you said that, it should be indexed or it should not be a nominal figure that's been given. You have to see it in the context. So, please tell me, sir, 2,13,000 crores out of a $2 trillion economy given to Bengal, and today it's a double-size economy, 5,76,000 crores has been given for Manrega. Which is more?
You're talking about Narega as a total. And that is what I'm mentioning. Narega, of course, the demand is higher. No. Wait. There is a difference in terms of quoting figures. You have to do it with respect to something. When you're making a nominal claim, especially for 10 years,
one more point.
This is basic economics.
This is not fair. Mr. Chatra has not spoken. What was the specific question for Gaurav Chatra? Gaurav Chatra, the simple question to you is this. That in all of this competitive fight between various states, now we have a situation where Dimple Yadav, Samajwadi Party MP, is asking for a special package for Uttar Pradesh from the center's funds. So when was this special package demand ever made? Was it made during UPA time? क्या ये नया demand नहीं है? और इस तरह की अगर competitive politics होगी, तो I mean, what really are we looking at in the larger context of India as a union?
देखिए, जो यूपीए की सरकार के टाइम का सिनेरियो कुछ अलग था. ये बजट जो आया है, ये बजट सिर्फ और सिर्फ एनडीए की सरकार बचाने का बजट है. जो भाजपा की स्ट्रेटजी थी, बजट लाओ और सरकार बचाओ, उस स्ट्रेटजी पे अपना के इन्होंने बजट अपनाया है. आज ये विकसित भारत की बात करते हैं. क्या उत्तर प्रदेश को साइडलाइन करके भारत विकसित हो सकता है? उत्तर प्रदेश सबसे ज्यादा एमपी देने वाला स्टेट. 80 की 80 सीटें तो मांगने आप लोग उत्तर प्रदेश चले जाते हो. आज उत्तर प्रदेश का किसान जो दुखी पड़ा है, उसके लिए क्या किया? इन्होंने कहा था किसान की आय दोगुनी करेंगे 10 साल में, तो आप कुछ नहीं कर पाए. आज आपने किसान की आय दोगुनी करने के लिए क्या किया? आज जीएसटी की बात करूं तो एक कर एक देश की बात होती है. वहां जीएसटी कहां है? जीएसटी में क्या कर कम कर दिया? आज हमारे बुजुर्ग जो करदाता है, उनको भी एक्सपेक्ट था कि कुछ टैक्स स्लैब में हमको राहत मिलेगी, उस पर कोई राहत नहीं मिली है. आज जो छोटे तबके का व्यापारी है, उसको था कि कम से कम लोन में हमें, कम से कम ब्याज पे हमें लोन मिल जाए, उसको नहीं मिला, उसको साइडलाइन कर दिया है। ये कहीं ना कहीं स्ट्रेटेजिकली अपनी सरकार बचाने के लिए इन्होंने बजट लाया है, लेकिन उत्तर प्रदेश की देवतुल्य जनता के साथ जो ये धोखा हुआ है, इसका रिजल्ट देखने को मिल जाएगा उपचुनाव में। भारतीय जनता पार्टी की इससे भी करारी हार उपचुनाव में होने वाली है। ये अपने जो गलत स्ट्रेटजी, गलत नियत अपनी सरकार बचाने के लिए जो कर्म कर रहे हैं, उसका इनको भुगतना पड़ेगा। और मैं लास्ट में इतना ही कहना चाहूंगा, जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की स्ट्रेटजी है, ये कभी भी देश की खुशहाली और तरक्की के रास्ते में ले जाने की स्ट्रेटजी नहीं है, सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपनी सरकार को बचाने की स्ट्रेटजी है।
I'm coming to each of you. Rajat Sethi, the biggest state of the country has been ignored, and this is something that the BJP is going to bear the consequences of. Please respond to Mr. Chachara's argument.
No, so, Tamil Nadu is accusing the government that you've been too nice to UP for a very long time. Even in the interim budget in the month of February, all the India alliance put together were only questioning why is UP getting all the benefits. Here, one gentleman from UP from, say, the same India alliance actually is going out and saying that UP isn't getting. See, first of all, India alliance together should come out with a white paper. They should say that this state got disproportionate amount of money and this state did not get as much amount of money. They should at least, educate the audience. What are they fighting for? They can't be fighting for mutually antagonistic goals all at the same time. It is too confusing for all of us. So the core point is UP as one state has got significant amount of GST allocations and has got significant amount of budgetary allocations over a period of time consistently. The kind of infrastructure that is in UP is actually not even there in a lot of western states and southern states also. So UP has had a fair share. Let's not get down the road. The real problem that is coming in, the demand that the political opponents are making to the government is coming from the south. And that needs to be addressed head on, because their claim during the time of election was that out of every 1 rupee, only 35 paisa that is going back to the southern states. Now that there you need to establish more sort of a fiscal prudence around what you're doing. Does it make sense?
Fair point. I want Riju to come in on that. Riju, whether it is the TMC, whether it's the DMK, whether it's the Samajwadi Party, you're all not on the same page, because here you have a panelist saying that UP injustice has been done. You have another ally in the south who says that UP is getting too much. At the end of the day, the India alliance partners have to all be on the same page. You have to at least be speaking in one voice if you're trying to criticize the central government. I think that's a fair point.
No, I don't think.
One by one. Okay, you can come in, sir. I want Riju to respond.
Look, can I come? See. After the Nitish Naidu budget or the Hum Do Hamare Do budget, everybody wants their pound of flesh, because they have Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu ji has got their pound of flesh. Now everybody wants their pound of flesh. That is politics. But let me come to the moot points here. I cannot see the panelists, but somebody was waving around a CAG report and had the guts to call my government corrupt. Now, as per that same CAG report, in Ayushman Bharat, 2.25 lakh loans were settled amounting to 300 crores, which were non-existing as per that CAG report. Do you have the guts to call the Modi Sarkar and the union government corrupt? But Dwarka Expressway, Bharatmala project, Ram Mandir corridor, all face corruption as per CAG report. Can you call BJP government corrupt?
Okay.
So this is the problem with so-called neutral panel. Madhav, 10 seconds. Somebody was saying white paper. On Times Now, one of the biggest networks in India, I challenge BJP, any of their spokespersons or any of their MPs and ministers, issue a white paper that you have given Bengal, Manrega and Awas funds in the last 2.5 years. I will leave politics forever. I will leave politics forever.
Okay, since Rajat was making that point, I'm going to give Rajat a chance to rebut.
For all your viewers,
Rajat, quick response, please. Quick response to move on to the next segment.
They have not
Quick
submitted
response.
utilization certificates to the tune of 2.2 lakh crore. They are not addressing this. Why should taxpayer money go to a government who cannot have the guts to show the paperwork that they've actually spent the money where it tended to go?
So let's also look at some of the contentious schemes in this entire budget, and also, of course, the political war over them. The first is a credit war over the abolishing of the angel tax in the budget. The Congress's claim is that it was listed in the Congress's manifesto. The counter coming in from the BJP side is that angel tax was introduced by the Congress itself. The second point of contention is as far as the apprenticeship scheme is concerned. The Pehli Naukri Pakki that was mentioned in Indian National Congress's Nyay Patra is the Congress's claim. The BJP's counter is that if that is the case, then why is this scheme not being implemented in Karnataka itself? The third point of contention as far as the employment-linked incentive is concerned, or the ELI. Here, the employment-linked incentive was also part of the Nyay Patras, what the Congress says. The BJP again counters that why is this not being implemented in Congress-ruled states? Let's quickly take this across to our panelists as well at this point of time. And sir, tell us that if this is indeed the case, why was it not implemented? That is, in fact, the main point of contention.
There can be two kinds of debate, right? One is about accountancy, like we've had here, 12,000 here, 15,000 crores there. I think if you look at the larger thing, the one positive thing that can emerge from this budget is that for the first time, or maybe not the first time, but increasingly the budget is being removed from the macroeconomic jail and put right where it belongs in the halls of political economy. To that extent, that's welcome. So obviously politics will influence the allocations and so forth. But what kind of politics? I think that's the question. And I think the current dispensation has indulged in, yes, politics, but not the kind that advances the interests of the country, but rather advances the interests of the party and the government. So I think if you've got to talk about it, then talk in larger terms of priority. So it's good that the budget has become politically focused rather than macroeconomically focused. But what kind of politics? And not this kind of politics.
Okay. Okay. Let me come in on these points. These 3 points of contention, first and foremost, the credit war that was seen immediately after the budget was announced. At the end of the day, is there some kind of hypocrisy in the way that it's being approached is a question that has been raised.
And Madhav, you would know that I have not interrupted anybody, so I'd appreciate the same courtesy extended to me. Look, angel tax was introduced in 2012. Can anybody deny it? It's all there. You can check your Times Now reports. If they were serious about removing angel tax, they should have removed it back then. They didn't. In fact, startups suffered. There were only 400 startups. Today, there are 1,15,000 startups. There are 125 plus unicorns. So they didn't do it. And even if they wanted to do it in their own state, for instance, they say that we came up with this apprenticeship idea. Why don't you give it in your own state? No answer for that. Also, they say we are pro-youth, right? In Jharkhand, youth demanding the jobs that they promised. Sarkari jobs, they were beaten up. In Telangana, they promised 2 lakh jobs. They came on the streets, the youth, they were beaten up. In Karnataka, 2.5 lakh Sarkari jobs, beaten up. Where are the jobs that they are promising or the opportunities they are promising? Here is the situation, and the ELI scheme also, Madhav, much before the Congress put it in the manifesto, in the COVID period, we had come up with a lot of these employment-linked schemes, incentives at that time. So it was not their brainchild. But having said that, if they consider it to be their brainchild, then how can you in the same tweet say that the budget is pro-crony, but the budget copies our manifesto? So was your manifesto pro-crony? And lastly, I want to just take back 1-2 points on UP. On UP, 2,23,000 crores were allocated this time. In 2012, 2013, and 2013, 2014, average it was 59,000 crores. How much of the percentage was it at that time of the allocation to the states? Allocation to the states at that time at the center was about 31%. Today it's 41%. It was 30 lakh crores. Today it's cumulatively 1,20,000 crores. So that settles the point. And lastly, they say price rise, महंगाई, हम लड़ना चाहते. In Karnataka, the milk, diesel, petrol, everything's price has been increased. They talk about farmers. 1,200 farmers committed suicide in Karnataka. Kerala, why don't they talk about the farmers there? In Punjab, the farmers were not paid MSP on moong dal. They won't talk about that. And Sir Gaurav ji, आपको सिर्फ एक आंकड़ा देना चाहता हूँ. धान और गेहूं, ये दोनों मिलाकर यूपीए ने 3 लाख करोड़ का एमएसपी में खरीद किया था. केवल 2 की बात कर रहा हूं उनके कार्यकाल में. आज 11 लाख करोड़ से अधिक है. एमएसपी बढ़ा के भी दी, एमएसपी ज्यादा भी दी. आप एमएसपी का मतलब मैक्सिमम सियासत और पॉलिटिक्स.
बीजेपी वाले आंकड़ा तो बहुत अच्छा दे देते हैं, लेकिन धरातल पे क्यों नहीं उतार पाते? धरातल पे किसान क्यों दुखी है? आज किसान आत्महत्या क्यों कर रहा है? आज मिडिल क्लास आत्महत्या क्यों कर रहा है? क्या महंगाई बढ़ी नहीं है? क्या किसान दुखी नहीं है? नौजवान दुखी नहीं है? व्यापारी दुखी नहीं है? आप बताइए.
कर्नाटका में 1200 किसानों ने आत्महत्या की.
अरे उत्तर प्रदेश में आपकी गलत नीति की वजह से जो आप बिल लेके आ रहे थे, कितने किसानों ने आत्महत्या की है? 800 से ज्यादा किसानों ने अपनी शहादत दी है. उस पर भी अपनी प्रतिक्रिया दीजिए.
Okay, yeah, Rohit, I want you to come in on this.
So even on numbers, let me just give you some numbers because he'll have to respond to that. And the numbers are to be taken very carefully and seriously. What is called a budget estimate is what you allocate, and what is a revised estimate is what you've actually spent. So there is a huge and hugely important point. So let me just quote on programs that this Prime Minister has introduced. PM Awas Yojana, budget document. I'm not saying anything outside of it. The actuals in 2023 were 28,000 crore. Today, as in the last budget, it is 22,000 crore. Is this less or more? Maths, normal arithmetic. PM Rural Awas Yojana, if I just say 44,960 crores, the actual spent is 32,000 crores. More or less? Again, he has to respond. Mahatma Gandhi, which is what he has been saying from the beginning, 90,806 crores, again allocated last to last year. Actual spent this time is 86,000 crore. I can go on and on. PM Poshan, which is 11,600, which was estimated, spent 10,000. Now tell me, I can promise the moon, but what I deliver is what matters. I promise X amount.
But Rohit, as an economist, this has been a problem. Spending has traditionally been a problem with all governments, not just this government.
No, so we are talking this government.
Why are you arguing? Let
him answer. Please allow the debate.
Madhav, we are discussing this government. Had you called me in 2005, I would have responded to that government.
Okay.
I am responding because this is the government in office currently.
Yeah, quickly.
Very quickly. Sir, all of these allocations that you're talking about, where it's budgetary estimate and revised estimates you're talking about, or the spent, who has to spend the money when it's allocated by the center? States. 1 second. Sir, please, Rajivji, why are you so impatient? You were very troubled when Madhav was saying something, but you constantly interrupting me, and I've given you all respect.
Conclude your point. Conclude.
So let us show some respect. I'm showing you so much grace and respect, sir.
Okay, conclude.
Secondly, and Rohitji, I have no malice against you. I'm only trying to have an intellectual conversation.
Absolutely.
And sir, during the UPA tenure, when this great program of Manrega was introduced, which we consider to be a great program because it shows what the legacy of this country was, at that time, what was the maximum that they had allocated? And what is the maximum that has been allocated now? You please quote the budgetary estimate of the best budget you want from there and the best budget from here.
Exactly same problem yet again.
Sir,
You're comparing nominal GDP of then to nominal. This is basic maths, basic economics. You cannot. 10 years ago, just 1 second, Shahzad, since you have quoted the figure, it is not what you compare. It's not the correct comparison. I said you can only compare either ratios or real numbers. You can't compare something which...
But you can compare...
Just 1 second.
But you can
so
compare...
1947 what the GDP was and today the GDP... There's a huge
again, now you are going into Nehru. If I go into Nehru, you'll have a problem. But one point. But you can compare the requirement of Bihar with the requirement of a South state.
The last
that you can compare. That you can compare.
Currently, yes.
Okay. We can all agree to disagree on this point. Let me quickly bring in the last point, and this is perhaps a very important point, but we have very limited time to discuss this. The LTCG. Let's quickly bring that up on the screen, if we can, as far as the long-term capital gains and the short-term capital gains taxes are concerned. A huge point of contention in this entire debate. It was earlier 15% as far as the short-term capital gain tax is concerned. This has been tweaked to some assets now at 20%. Let's move on to the next one, which is long-term capital gains, which was earlier at 10% in some situations, 20% in some situations, now at 12.5%. Now, this is, of course, when it comes to capital assets, etc., there are different categories in which there were varying percentages. The government says it's a rationalization program. And Rohit Azad, I want you to come in on this because the government says it's rationalization. What's going to be the net effect? Because there are some who are saying that the asset-owning classes, the middle classes, or those who are wealthy, even all of them are going to be hugely impacted in terms of the net taxation that they're going to be exposed to.
So basic mathematics would tell you that if the appreciation is very high, let's say 3 to 4 times within 10 years, then you would gain. Because after all, the tax rates have come down from 20 to 12.5. But usually in real estate markets, within 10 years to have 3 times the price rise usually does not happen. If it does not happen, and their calculation, I think even in the budget, if you look at if it is twice the amount, which is what you would find in Delhi, perhaps, then you actually make a loss. For a simple reason, because if you, let's say, bought, I don't want to go into the numbers, 50 lakhs you bought it for, and now the price,
So unless there's a windfall, there is no...
There is a windfall.
So let me bring in Rajat on that point.
Windfall, it's not regular.
Yeah, let me bring in Rajat. Let me bring in Rajat. Rajat, this is a point being made by various political parties, by various observers, that if there is a nominal increase in terms of what your property price is, the indexing would earlier guard you from that, from being taxed on that. But now, unless you make a huge amount of profit, maybe about 3 to 5 times. Until you're at that level, you stand to be taxed and lose a lot of money. That's going to be a net impact, and that's why this indexation removal is extremely controversial. Please respond to that argument.
Madhav, when an exercise like a rationalization exercise is brought in, certain sections will lose out and certain sections will gain. That is the process. That's how it is. Suppose if a GST rationalization is to be brought in tomorrow, and one flat rate of say 12% is introduced by the government, and there'll be no 5 different slabs, only 12%. Then the person who are taxed at 5% will say, "Oh my God, the prices have gone up to 12%." But there will be people who are paying 18% GST who will come down to 12%. But, the process is simplified. You have one tax rate, which makes it very clear. It makes it clear, removes confusion, and the, tax collection and all. There's a clear signal or proportionality that if the process is simple and much more rationalized, you collect much more taxes, and that's the best possible policy outcome that can come in.
All right. This is perhaps a topic that we should have debated the first, because there's so much. Totally out of time, Shehzad. Sorry, totally out of time. Shehzad Purawala, Deepak Reddy, Rajat Sethi, Rohit Azad, Riju Datta, Rajiv Desai, Gaurav Chacha. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. It's been a very, very interesting debate. Of course, the budget session is still on. We all have to see what the explanations are that come in from the opposition, from the treasury benches through the course of the next week when this discussion happens, and what finally the finance minister's reply is to the parliament on the budget discussion. Thanks so much for joining us on this edition of the National Debate.